Imagine a fight where pure experience collides with raw destruction. Manny Pacquiao, a legend who conquered 8 weight divisions, standing across the ring from Gervonta Tank Davis, one of boxing's most dangerous knockout artists. This matchup isn't just fantasy. It's a battle between eras, styles, and philosophies. Pacquiao brings endless pressure, speed, and championship heart, while Tank carries patience, timing, and fight-ending power in both hands. One represents proven greatness. The other represents modern dominance. The real question is simple but terrifying. Can experience survive explosive power? Or does youth and precision end a legend's run? Manny Pacquiao versus Gervonta Davis would be one of the most fascinating stylistic matchups boxing could music offer. Pacquiao built his legacy by overwhelming opponents with nonstop movement, unpredictable angles, and relentless combination. Davis, on the other hand, is a calculated finisher who waits for mistakes and punishes them brutally. This fight wouldn't be about who throws more punches. It would be about who controls the pace in the moment. Pacquiao's pressure versus Tank's patience creates a dangerous equation where every round could shift instantly. As more than a legend, he's an anomaly in boxing history. His success came from a rare blend of explosive hand speed, unpredictable footwork, and relentless aggression. As the southpaw of Pacquiao attacked from angles most fighters never see, darting in and out with lightning-fast combinations before opponents could react. His punch volume was overwhelming, often forcing fighters into survival mode. Even elite champions struggled to time him because his movement was constant and unconventional. Music. Pacquiao's greatest weapon was not just speed, but his ability to maintain that speed over multiple rounds while applying nonstop pressure. However, Pacquiao's aggressive style also carried risks. He often attacked in bursts, leaving brief openings during exchanges. His defense relied heavily on movement rather than a tight guard, meaning precise counterpunchers could catch him coming in. Throughout his career, Pacquiao showed moments of vulnerability when opponents timed his forward momentum against a puncher like Tank Davis. Those openings become extremely dangerous, especially if Pacquiao is not his absolute prime. Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing today because of his ability to end fights suddenly. Tank possesses explosive knockout power, elite counterpunching instincts, and a calm patience that separates him from reckless brawlers. Unlike many power punchers, Tank does not chase knockouts. He studies opponents round by round, slowly downloading their timing, habits, and defensive mistakes. Once he finds the opening, the fight often ends instantly, sometimes when it appears he's losing on the scorecards. Tank's biggest strengths are his precision and timing. His left hand is devastating, especially when thrown as a counter or uppercut. Music. His body shots are brutal and often overlooked, breaking opponents down before the knockout comes upstairs. However, Tank is music, not without flaws. He sometimes gives away early rounds while analyzing opponents, which could be risky against a high-volume fighter like Pacquiao. Additionally, Tank has not faced many elite fast southpaws with relentless pressure, making this matchup particularly intriguing. At its core, Pacquiao versus Tank Davis is a classic speed versus power matchup. Pacquiao looks to control the fight by winning minutes, outworking his opponent with movement, angles, and music volume. Tank looks to win seconds, waiting patiently for one mistake that changes everything. Pacquiao overwhelms fighters over time. Tank ends fights in moments. That contrast defines the entire fight. In the early rounds, Pacquiao would likely start fast, using his footwork and hand speed to keep Tank on the defensive. He would attack in flurries, darting in and out, forcing Tank to reset repeatedly. Tank, meanwhile, would remain calm, keeping a high guard and absorbing information. These early rounds would likely favor Pacquiao on points as his activity and movement make it difficult for Tank to land cleanly. As the fight moves into the middle rounds, the danger increases significantly. Tank begins to adjust, timing Pacquiao's entries and exits more accurately. Body shots start to play a role, slowing Pacquiao's movement just enough to create openings, while Pacquiao may still land more punches. Overall, Tank's shots become heavier and more damaging. Momentum begins to shift, and every Pacquiao attack carries increasing risk. In the championship rounds, everything comes down to conditioning, discipline, and timing. If Pacquiao remains sharp and disciplined, he can continue to outwork Tank and secure a decision victory. However, if Tank lands one clean counter, especially a left hand, as Pacquiao steps in or exits, the fight could end instantly. This matchup is unlikely to become a prolonged war. It either stays tactical or ends suddenly. For Pacquiao to win, he must maintain constant lateral movement, avoid exiting in straight lines, keep his punch volume high, and never admire his work after landing combinations. Any moment of pause could be disastrous. For a Tank to win, patience is key. He must attack the body, time Pacquiao's flurries, and capitalize fully when the opening appears. Music. One mistake from Pacquiao could be all Tank needs. So who wins this fight? If this is prime Manny Pacquiao, his speed, volume, and relentless pressure likely overwhelm Tank Davis, leading to a decision victory or a late stoppage. Music. But if this is a modern or slightly past prime Pacquiao, Tank Davis's power and timing likely result in a mid to late knockout. Either way, this is a high-risk, high-reward matchup with a dramatic outcome. Beyond styles or power, this fight is also a mental chess match. Manny Pacquiao has always fought with emotion, momentum, and crowd energy. He thrives when the pace is high and chaos favors his rhythm. The faster the fight moves, the more dangerous Pacquiao becomes. Tank Davis, on the other hand, is at his best when everything slows down. He is comfortable losing rounds if it means setting traps. That difference in mentality shapes how every round unfolds and explains why this matchup is so fascinating. Pacquiao's footwork would be a major factor early. Unlike traditional boxers who move in straight lines, Pacquiao darts at angles, often stepping outside his opponent's lead foot before throwing combination against Tank. This could disrupt defensive positioning and limit clean counter opportunities. Pacquiao would likely target Tank's guard with fast flurries, forcing him to block high while sneaking shots to the body and chest. Even if those punches don't hurt immediately, they build cumulative damage and keep Tank from fully setting his feet. Tank's composure under pressure would be tested heavily in the opening rounds. Pacquiao does not give opponents time to breathe. He forces decisions demanding constant defensive awareness. However, Tank has shown throughout his career that he is comfortable absorbing early pressure if it means gaining valuable information. Each Pacquiao attack gives Tank data how Pacquiao exits, how long he stays in range, and which side he favors after throwing combinations. Those patterns become critical later. As the fight progresses, the importance of body work cannot be overstated. Tank Davis is one of the most effective body punchers, in modern boxing, especially against aggressive fighters. A single clean shot to the ribs or solar plexus can slow even the fastest opponent. If Tank can consistently touch Pacquiao's body in the middle rounds, Pacquiao's explosiveness begins to drop just enough to create danger. That slight decrease in speed could be the difference between slipping a punch and getting caught clean. Pacquiao's durability and heart would come into play as the fight deepens. Throughout his career, Pacquiao has shown an incredible ability to fight through adversity. He does not panic when clipped, and he often responds to danger with increased aggression. Against Tank, this instinct could either save him or cost him. Charging forward after being touched by a power punch might win him a round, or it might lead directly into a fight and encounter. Another critical element is ring positioning. Tank Davis excels at subtly cutting off the ring, forcing opponents toward the ropes without obvious chasing. If Tank can limit Pacquiao's lateral movement and force exchanges near the corners, his power becomes far more effective. Pacquiao's best moments come in open space where he can explode in and out. The smaller the ring feels, the more the fight shifts in Tank's favor. The question of stamina also plays a major role. Pacquiao is known for his incredible conditioning, especially in his prime, where he could maintain a high pace deep into fights. Tank's stamina has improved over time, but his style relies on bursts of explosive energy rather than constant output. If Pacquiao can force Tank to work defensively for extended periods, fatigue could become a factor. However, Tank only needs one moment of clarity to change the entire fight. Judging also becomes an interesting variable. Pacquiao's activity and movement tend to score well with judges, especially early. Tank's cleaner, harder shots may not always come in high volume, but they leave a visible impression. This creates a scenario where Pacquiao could be ahead on the scorecards while Tank remains extremely dangerous, increasing tension with every passing round. As the later rounds approach, the atmosphere of the fight would shift dramatically. Every Pacquiao attack would feel riskier. Every Tank counter more threatening. The crowd energy would rise with each exchange, knowing the fight could end at any moment. This is where experience matters. Pacquiao has lived in these moments many times. Tank is still building his legacy in them. Ultimately, this fight does not have a boring outcome. If Pacquiao wins, it's through relentless pressure, superior footwork, and overwhelming volume that forces Tank into a defensive shell. If Tank wins, it's through precision, patience, and devastating power that punishes even the smallest mistake. There is no scenario where both fighters simply coast. That is what makes Pacquiao versus Gervonta such a compelling debate. It's not about disrespecting eras or styles. It's about understanding how boxing evolves while fundamentals remain eternal. Speed fades, power lasts, but timing beats everything. And in this fight, timing decides. When a legend meets a knockout machine, there is no safe outcome. Manny Pacquiao has faced power punches before and survived wars that define generations. Gervonta, however, represents a new kind of threat. Disciplined, explosive, and unforgiving. One clean shot could change everything, but one relentless attack could also drown a younger fighter in chaos. That's why this matchup sparks endless debate among fans and analysts. Who would you trust more, the proven greatness of Pacquiao or the terrifying power of Tank Davis? Drop your prediction in the comments. Like the video and subscribe for elite boxing breakdowns.